Still feeling the need to talk. So I'm gonna pick another distraction that works well for me, and I think for the first time on these videos, talk about anime. And I'm not sure where to start because it's the first one that I've done. Is there I guess I could talk conceptually about anime to begin with, because I think a lot of people who are not as familiar with anime tend to assume it's the porn anime, like cartoon porn. And yeah, that exists, but anime is really kind of just an alternative to live action. Like, you can find the same kinds of movies and shows in anime that you can find everywhere else in the world, and there's a lot out there. Like slice of life, sitcom style stuff. There's action stuff. Oh shit. This is such a terrible on-ramp. Alright, there we go. There's horror, sci-fi, fantasy, crime drama, but I think there may even be like more stuff than normal. Because, well, up until CGI started catching up with it, it was much easier to make the special effects for crazier things. Monsters could be, anything. Military vehicles could be, like, there still isn't a good live action movie, in my opinion, that brings the mech genre into being in live action. You got Pacific Rim, which is kind of a kaiju mech thing that's okay, but doesn't really do what I want it to do. Like, what I want is a live action version of Gundam. And again, if this is new information to you, the word Gundam probably doesn't mean anything. But like anthropomorphic tanks, essentially, that can also usually fly. It's just humanoid shaped fighting machines. It's a pretty big genre in anime. I guess it goes from powered armor up through giant robo. Think about, you may have heard of things like Macross, an older anime, where they're, if I'm remembering it correctly, this is where that came from. They had what were essentially, I think, F-15s that could transform into humanoid-shaped things, so that they could, land and walk around and then just like take off again, turn into a plane and fly away. Very cool concept. And Transformers run. Had a character that they alternatively called Skyfire or Jetfire, depending on a few things. They kind of mixed it up a few times. And it was based on one of those Macross fighters. Variform fighters, is that what they called them? Anyway, I guess what I'm trying to get across is that there's a lot to anime. There's like psycho thrillers and mind benders. There's a little bit of everything that you can find in anime, and in case you couldn't guess, I very much enjoy the sci-fi anime, but partly because the sci-fi anime I've seen tends toward trying to convey an idea, trying to communicate something philosophical. So Gundam in general is a treatment of society, military, and war, what it means to fight, reasons people might be willing to stand up and fight, how does pacifism stack up in the face of violence? Like, at what point do you stop trying for a diplomatic solution? And like, what then is the cost when you give up? There's just a lot of really good treatment, and my favorite is Gundam Wing, possibly because it's I think the anime that got me into anime. Like, I had seen other anime before that, but like bits and pieces of them, like Macross, and heck, I even think I saw Sailor Moon before Gundam Wing got me really interested. And then you get anime like Cowboy Bebop, which is so good. But it's also a little hard to get into, I think. Like, the first few episodes are a little confusing. Like, it doesn't make, to me, a lot of sense what's going on. It seems a little too random. Maybe that's a good thing, that they didn't try super hard to make the first episode super engaging and then have their slow build, because one of the series' strengths is that you have this slow build where you're introduced to the characters, you get to know them better, you get to understand that they all have histories, and how they ended up together is just chance. But they're really by the end, tied to each other emotionally. They really feel like a family that found each other. And man, like, there are so few anime that I've seen that end well, that close up their story well. And possibly next time on the next video, because this is probably going to be a big one. I really like Naruto, the anime. I'd never read the manga, but Naruto, the anime, I really very much love, but it has things that I have to overcome to love it, including the ending, which I think was terrible. I don't know, maybe I just didn't understand it or something, but it was just not a good ending. So anyway, seeing Cowboy Bebop and having it end so meaningfully, Cowboy Bebop might be like top 3 greatest anime of all time. Of course, I haven't seen all anime. Like I said, there's a lot out there. But I've seen a good amount, and Cowboy Bebop is fantastic. Before I end the video, I'll just mention a couple of the other sci-fi style anime that I have seen and probably remember because I liked them for some reason, like Bubblegum Crisis. I love the powered armor. Like, that's just cool. I don't really remember much of the story, but I like the powered armor, so I remember it. Irresponsible Captain Tyler is like Gundam, where it addresses something philosophical, but does it on the backdrop of like space military and some humor. And it's a really good series. Definitely one I would watch again. Neon Genesis Evangelion. I don't know if I want to recommend watching that one. It tries way too hard to be mind-bending, and it's just I don't know. I don't recommend that one. Last one I'll point out. Oh crap! I just lost the name. It just went right out of my head. I can picture it. Nadesco. There we go. Martian Successor, Nadesco. Great sci-fi anime series that pokes fun at anime. Like, it uses anime tropes as jokes, but at the same time, you get a good character story. And there's a follow-up movie that takes a different tone. Like, it's a little bit more serious, but still good and worth watching. And so yeah, I think there's just a lot of anime out there. And maybe for my next video, what I'll do is talk about Naruto specifically, and why I love it, and what things about it I'm not so happy about. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening.